inorganic contaminants, and the patented self-sanitizing feature eliminates algae and bacteria while adding oxygen to your water. It costs less than bottled water without the bottled water hassle. No more bottles to lift. Just sanitize delicious water, hot or cold, from Pure Water Science. Call 818-502-4191. 818-502-4191.
Welcome back here to the PM Show, weekend edition with Nancy and Larry Manetti. I'm Michael Horn. The great Robert Forrester is with us. And Robert, I know you're on Alcatraz, and we talked about, we're going to get to the John Huston story, but here is my question for you, because I've heard you say this now, and I watched it with also the great William Shatner, because he was also in stage first like you were, and then into motion pictures and television. Larry, did you do stage work as well?
A lot. What do you think I am?
I'm
at the
just
Puerto
asking
Rican
you.
puppet
I'm
show?
trying to include you in your show.
That's it.
So here's the thing. On a sitcom, it's kind of like full circle, Robert, isn't it? Because you're doing that show and that audience is there, and I watched William Shatner go crazy, comes over and he talks to the stage. This is kind of like our little play, and we're going to do this and reshoot this, and he's talking to the audience, and it's, to me, it was observing, that's probably the greatest thing I can do is observe, somebody enjoying the fact of working before that live audience. Is that the same feeling you got on Last Man Standing?
Oh, sure. And I haven't done it in a while, but you suddenly realize timing has to do with where your audience is going to laugh, and so you play your audience. It's a circle between you and the audience, and just like a play, you start out with the first joke, and you see if you can't build a relationship with your audience right from the get-go. It's great working in front of
It's just
folks.
like what we're doing right now.
Right now, I know. And boy, Larry, the audience, you nailed him with that one, Larry.
Right.
You nailed him. Now, what's the John Huston story? You promised that for us.
Thank you. The John Huston story, when I do my program, this little program that I do, this is my opener. And let me see if I can tighten it up and make it nice for your for this amount of time we got. The beginning of my career is like this. This is the first acting advice I got when I started working in pictures. My career is like this. I'm a senior at the University of Rochester. I'm studying history and psychology. I'm going to be a lawyer for no good reason. I pull into a parking spot on the first day of my senior year. In front of my car, before I can even turn off the engine, walks a beautiful brunette. She's wearing a black London Fog raincoat and high heels. I am struck by lightning. I leap out of the car. I follow the girl. I'm trying to think of something to say. She walks into the auditorium. They're doing an audition for Bye Bye Birdie. I'd never seen the play and I hadn't seen the movie, but I had seen the trailer to the movie, and I knew it was about a guy with a gold suit who does a parody of Elvis Presley. I said, that's how I'm going to meet the girl. I'm going to play the guy with the gold suit. I auditioned for the guy with the gold suit. They don't give it to me. They put me in the chorus. I figure, the heck with that. I don't want to be in the chorus. Then I say to myself, yeah, Bob, but how about the girl? I stuck so I could meet the girl. Later, I married the girl. We had 3 daughters.
My God.
Oh, my goodness.
That was my first play at the University of Rochester. Later in the year, somebody says, I'm doing a one-act Irish comedy. Would you like to play the hero? Now I think, sure, and now you're talking. By the time I graduate, I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to be an actor. I wonder how you do it. I go to my father. I say, Dad, I don't think I want to be a lawyer. I want to be an actor. He says, he who had spent the 1930s on the Ringling Circus, he was an elephant trainer. He started out as a roustabout, and then he went on the bull department. He trained elephants before World War II. He says to me, I said, I want to be an actor, not a lawyer. He says, Bob, I think you could do that. So merrily, I went to New York, not knowing that there are a zillion actors. I spend about a year. I get a reading for a play. I get the play. We are closed. This is Mrs. Dally Has a Lover. We close in about 2 months. I have this deal now at 20th Century Fox. I drive out. I get married. We drive out to Los Angeles. I take an apartment on Fountain Avenue. The first phone call is from the agent. He says, you know who John Huston is? I say, no, I don't. He says, well, he's a big guy in this business. He says he wants to meet you for Reflections in a Golden Eye. I read it quick. I jump on a plane. I fly back to New York. I meet this guy on a Saturday afternoon. It's hot. It's bright. I find this hotel on Madison Avenue where I'm going to meet John Huston. I walk in the lobby, and all these other guys, everywhere I look, there's actors. They all look like me. I figure this is a cattle call. Get out of here. I took a hike. I walked around for a while. I talked to myself, Bob, go on back there. You came all the way from California to meet this guy. And I went back. There were less guys. I put my name at the bottom of the list. Eventually, my name was called. I am escorted up the elevator. We wait outside of a room. Somebody leaves. I'm escorted in. I'm introduced to this tall, old guy. What have you done? What have you done? I said, I haven't done much. I did one Broadway play. I wasn't bad, but I don't make myself an actor. I never did a movie. I don't know how they're made. I don't know what the tricks are, but if you hire me, I said, I'll give you your money's worth. He says, Ray Stark. You may remember that name.
Yeah.
Ray Stark. He says, Ray, come in here, Ray. I want you to meet an actor. And I'm thinking, who is this guy? I told him I only did it once. I didn't want to oversell myself. I shake hands with the little guy. The little guy turned back to the big guy. He says, you'll be hearing from us. I figure that's the kiss-off. When somebody says you'll be hearing from us, you never hear from anybody.
Yeah.
I went back to the airport. I jumped on a plane. I stopped off in Rochester. When I got off the plane in Rochester, 2 hours later, my agent, my father says to me, quick, call your agents. They just made a deal. Have we got any more time for this story? Or
Yeah.
Okay,
Go on.
all right. I come back out to Los Angeles. The agents arrange a telephone call between me and John Huston. I'm on the phone with him. I say, hey, listen, I thank you very much for hiring me. I said, but do you remember I told you I never did a movie? He says, I remember. I said, and reading my mind, he says, I'll give you some instruction. Great. The guy's going to give me some instruction. I have no idea what the movies are all about. About a month later, he comes out to Los Angeles. I meet him over at Western Costume, right by Paramount. You remember that?
Yes.
Very well.
Yes.
And I go straight to him, and I say, hey, look, they sent me the script, and I read the script, and you said you had some instructions for me. What are they? And he takes a long pause, and he says, but not yet, Bobby. I said, well, okay, maybe he's going to take me to lunch. Maybe he's going to take me on a set. Who knows? And I wait, and days go by, and nobody calls, and days turn into weeks, during which nobody calls, and weeks turn into months. Nobody calls. But during that period, Montgomery Clift, who was going to do the role in the picture, dies and has to be replaced by Marlon. And that takes some months. Finally, I do get the call. We're going to meet on Long Island at Mitchell Field, an old military base on Long Island. I show up 3 days early on Long Island. I go straight to Houston. I say, hey, look, all summer long I've been reading the script. You said you had some instructions for me. What are they? He says, but not yet, Bobby. Well, now I don't know what he's waiting for. So it's the night before we're going to start shooting. We're all having dinner, a long table, everybody in the cast and crew, not Elizabeth Taylor, not Marlon Brando, but everybody else. And I'm sitting right next to Houston, and all during dinner I assume he's going to lean over and toss me these pearls of wisdom. No such thing. I lean over to him at the end of dinner, and I say, hey, tomorrow morning we're going to start this thing. Don't you think now's the time to give me those instructions? He says, tomorrow morning, Bobby.
Hold on, we got more coming up and see what happens tomorrow morning with Robert Forster.
Hang in
Stay with
there.
us.
It's a cliffhanger.